In the last Project Levo video, we compared my personal 2018 Gen 1 Levo to the new 2022 Gen 3 Levo. The comparison revealed that in 4 short years, Specialized has made some huge strides with the Turbo Levo platform, coming without surprise that the new Gen 3 Levo was better in basically every category. Shocking, right? But so much so that it's honestly kind of hard to now ride the Gen 1 knowing how good the Gen 3 platform is. So we wanted to set out and see if we can take some of the inspiration from the Gen 3 and implement it into the Gen 1. To do this, I took the bike to the bright minds over at Dirtlabs to see what we could do to bring this Gen 1 Levo into the new age. And here is what we did. We're doing away with the RockShox Revelation fork. This fork would be considered low-end on a traditional acoustic bike, but when you add the hefty 48 pounds that is this e-bike, it really shows its weakness. We're going to replace it with a Fox 36 E-optimized fork with 10mm more travel than the Revelation, bumping it up from 150mm to 160mm. I'll let Luby, the owner of Dirtlabs, explain this.
So we're just lining up the axle, and the critical measurement is axle to crown. So it's the center of the axle to where the crown goes into the bike. That's how high your front end's going to sit. With the Fox 36 going up 10 more millimeters and to a 2.9er, if we just hold a straight edge to the crown there, it's looking like we are almost 10 millimeters taller than the old fork. So that's going to slacken out the head angle on it. So that'll help with everything.
On top of that, the fact that the new Fox fork is E-optimized means it has a little bit stronger chassis and it's stiffer. The fork is also a 29er, so we'll be able to mullet this bike out like the Gen 3, with a 29er up front and a 27.5 in the rear. The bigger front wheel will help roll over obstacles while retaining the nimble feeling that the bike has in the rear. Another added benefit of going with a 29 up front is that we will even further slacken the head tube angle out and hopefully get the bottom bracket a little bit higher to help with those pedal strikes that we were getting. The rear shock is also getting upgraded from the RockShox Monarch to a Fox DPX2 with a piggyback reservoir, which will help with cooling, and it's designed to be ridden harder. And with the weight of the electric mountain bikes, you really want a piggyback shock on these.
Went from this to this. This has extra oil volume, so it's going to keep it cooler, and you're just going to get more of a plusher feeling shock overall. So definitely an upgrade.
In order to be able to mount this shock, we're utilizing a bike yoke adapter, which allows the use of a standard shock on Specialized mountain bikes of this era. As I mentioned, we're turning this bike into a mullet, so we were able to keep the rear wheel, but we added a more aggressive Specialized Eliminator 2.6-inch wide tire, which is the same rear tire that the Gen 3 Levo is running. In the front, we scored a 29-inch Roval wheel from a different Specialized build, and mounted a Specialized Butcher 2.6-inch wide tire to it, which is also the same front tire that comes on the Gen 3 Levo. I was already running a much shorter than stock 35mm stem, so in keeping with the Gen 3 short stem style, we're going to leave that on there. For a quick tally of what all of this is costing, I bought this 2018 used for $3,200. The Fox fork was $1,100. The Fox shock was $540. The bike yoke was $130. The used front wheel cost $125. Tires were $135, and the stem was $50. That brings us up to a total of $1,945 for the parts that we just put on this bike. And when you add the cost of the used bike itself, it brings the full investment up to $5,145. Next step is to ride this thing and see if all of that investment was worth it. So check in for the next video of Project Levo, and we'll see how this modified Gen 1 can stack up against the Gen 3 Levo.